With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, we've been touching on the crazy admissions scandal going through tons of universities through the United States, but let's hammer down a little bit on Brian's alma mater.
I feel like they've been hammering it up.
University of Southern California students may be embroiled in that college admissions scandal. They're not going to be able to register for classes while officials conduct an internal investigation. According to the website, quote, this prevents the student from registering for classes or acquiring transcripts while their cases are under review.
Oh, so, individual students.
Yes. It's unclear how many students are affected by this freeze. And it's if they find, what I heard, I was listening to John and Ken yesterday, and according to them, if they find that you or your parents were involved in this, you don't exist anymore. I mean, when they take away your transcripts, it's like you were never there. It doesn't matter how long you were involved.
New romantic comedy.
What's that?
All the players from around the country and all the sports that get embroiled with this break off and start their own team.
Oh, that's good. And I have a couple stars for you.
They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, they have nowhere to go.
The underdog.
Yeah.
So the senior associate athletic director and the water polo coach were both fired last week after they were indicted for accepting bribes to falsely designate students as athletic recruits. So maybe they'll start things off.
Problem with water polo coach and firing. Football coach gets shit canned. That just meant he had a couple of seasons, a couple of 3-9 seasons he put together. Water polo, you dropped a digit on somebody. You slid your hand down a Speedo. There's something going on in that locker room. Nobody cares enough about water polo. Like that's,
you had a bad season?
There's a stigma to water polo.
Right.
That you don't have in football. Football's always results oriented.
Yeah.
Water polo, I don't trust those guys.
Yeah, well, good thing they're gone now.
Yeah.
So, speaking of football, the Wall Street Journal reports that Patriots owner Robert Kraft has just gotten a sort of get-out-of-jail-free offer. So, prosecutors in Florida have offered him a deal that would essentially erase the solicitation charges against him, but he basically, first, he has to admit he's guilty. Also, he has to submit to an STD screening. He has to complete an education course about prostitution and do 100 hours of community service. If he gets all that done, charges dismissed.
What a sweet deal.
Kraft was charged.
Now, I've laughed about it because he's one of these guys who probably has every shirt monogrammed, and now it's coming back to haunt him because they have nice high-def digital shots of his shirt sleeves with his initials on it. But there's film of him getting tugged off by
that was the lead headline when this broke, was that there is surveillance video. Now it's not out, but that was the headline.
Imagine,
I
was just going to say, imagine him having to sit through one of those classes as as his punishment. That he's in a class where he's like learning about the problems with prostitution and things like that. Like
there's a problem with prostitution.
Now, who here can tell me this is Robert? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah.
It's like going to traffic school.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And the thing look, the feds had to be onto this place. There's 3 words in front on the glass of this place. It says massage, open, facials. That's all it says. And I'm sorry, if you pass any business that just says massage and open facials it, pull over, get your windbreaker on, and go in there and find out what's going on, because something's going on.
Yeah, something hinky.
It just says massage, open facials.
Now, this is kind of related to the college admissions scandal in the sense that the full list has not come out yet of all the people associated, and the full list has not come out. Ian Rappaport of ESPN, of all people, kind of let slip in a report early on, I'm told that Robert Kraft is not the biggest name involved.
There's someone's bigger.
So I'm
the smart money
dying.
where I'm from, and I mean the circles I run in, the baby dolls and the cousins' house.
Please.
Tiger Woods.
That's what I. Find my tweet from the day this happened. Because Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan and Kid Rock, they all live in Jupiter, Florida. Yeah. So there's going to be.
Is Kid Rock bigger than Robert Kraft?
The people challenge me out on Twitter. Let's go outside the studio right now. Let's find the first 25 people and ask them, hey, who's Robert Kraft? Hey, who's Kid Rock?
The chief singles guy.
That's all you get.
Who's Kid Rock?
You're going to leave the studio and find someone who speaks English. Good luck.
The name Kid Rock will get more recognition.
It is the only massage parlor in that town, though. So, some of those guys might have just been going there there
for a good, honest,
just for a good, honest massage, or a facial.
Minus the white slavery part of the whole thing. Does anyone have real objections in 2019 to the rub and tug for the
that aspect of
dude
it? No.
whose wife died? And then if he's not involved with the white slavery aspect of it, I mean, there's this part where you go, hey, this guy's using drugs. Who do you think's paying the cartels? And you go, got it, but we can't. Right. I don't know.
He didn't personally do that.
You're right.
That was the other part that I also pointed out. I'm like, and by the way, when I was speculating of who these bigger names could be, I was like, and by the way, Mar-a-Lago, 20 miles away. And people jumped all over me like, oh, why do you hate Trump so much? Here's the thing about not having a team. You can see the world as it is. And what happened in the last few weeks? Pictures of the founder, the owner of this place. Well, buddy with not just Trump. I forgot who the other people were, but just people in the government. There are DC players that may get wrapped up in this. That's all I was saying.
They're the business leaders of the community. It could be completely
innocent. That's right. Complete coincidence.
Is there a chain of these places or just one?
Massage open facial.
Yeah. It says
just
massage,
a day spa.
open facial. So I'm done. That doesn't bring you up on suspicion. I don't know what does.
And if he's still mulling it over, he has about a week to decide. And I can't imagine what his community service is.
I don't like any of this stuff. I don't like it.
He has that F me money.
Yeah.
I want this to come out in court.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
what's the human trafficking part of the story? I know it came out big at the beginning, but I haven't heard that much afterward.
You mean what
I'm
are the
suspicious.
details?
I think cops like this versus being on the crash unit going down to deal with MS-13. I think they like the rub and tug
it's a little bit
part
more.
of town
It's
more
safer.
than the guys with the tattoos.
There's some perks.
And so they kind of have we got the Crips and Bloods and MS-13, and we got Crafty over there getting a rub and tug. So let's focus, people. And then they all head over there.
I'm not saying this is specific at all to this case. But in general, I would think when people are talking about human trafficking at places like this, however they find the women from whatever countries they're from, all their IDs are taken from them. So whatever identification, passports, visas are taken, and they're basically said, if you want them back, this is kind of what you got to do. So that's the human trafficking aspect of a massage parlor.
The cops get out ahead with the human trafficking part, but then it kind of sloughs off, and then we're left with the guys. I say new rule. Which is whether you're going after Trump or whether you're going after Clinton or whether you're going after human trafficking, it's all got to be under that umbrella. Can't have a lot of we're going after Clinton and we're going after him for a real estate deal gone south. Who blew him? What? I'm like,
get him.
And we're going after this place for human trafficking. What? Crafty just walked in. Let's get him too. Let's say you got to stay in your lane. Right. Whatever that subject is, Russian collusion, Whitewater, human trafficking, all the stuff that falls in that.
Yeah.
Because in a weird way, these guys end up being the lead on a story and the bus on a story that the law never was never going for.
Well, it's not about them. Exactly.
I know, but we made it about them.
We make it about them, and that's what everyone wants to talk about. Right.
Do we remember back, we don't remember, but back in the days when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president, they would never, photography, journalism, would never think of shooting him in his wheelchair or in the braces. And that was an unwritten law where everybody abided by that because there was integrity.
Right.
A reasonable amount of integrity in journalism.
Two things that were great for guys like Kraft back in the day. Integrity, and you could bribe people.
Yep.
Just give them some money. Shut up.
Hundo.
Look the other way.
Apparently you can't anymore with the U.S. the college
sad.
scandal. It's a shame.
Yeah. Adam would do very well in Cobra Kai. He would do very well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. If you could be Crease's assistant, I like.
Pain does not exist in this studio, does it?
Pain does not exist in the studio. Right, exactly.
No, Adam.
Mercy is for the strong.
Finish him! Sorry. So, anything on the human trafficking part, I'm for, but the rub and tug part, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some good news, at least if you're Finnish. Finland takes the top spot again. It's the happiest country in the world for the second year in a row, according to the latest World Happiness Report. It's followed by Denmark, Norway, Iceland, and the Netherlands. Let's see. The World Happiness Report was released by the Sustainable Development Solutions Network of the United Nations. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
The report ranks countries on 6 variables: income, freedom, trust, healthy life expectancy, social support, and generosity. And apparently it's not just for native-born people in Finland. They say they also have the happiest immigrants as well. We did not make the list. The U.S. came in 19th. Would you like to know who the least happy countries are?
Yeah, I would. I'm assuming there's...
Any guesses?
I'm assuming they're not that tropical.
All the shithole countries.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you might be on something.
Mm-hmm. Any places that have scary insects.
Very good.
You know,
Very
when they go like,
insightful.
oh, my God, have you seen a camel spider? It's the size of a garbage can lid. You're like, what? Oh, those scorpions, they kill you with your eyes. They shoot laser beams out of their eyes. Like all the places with the scariest insects, those are the saddest places.
They're not happy.
When have you ever heard about a bad insect coming out of Finland?
Never.
No one ever went like, well, what's the problem? Oh, I went to Finland and I got this tick, and now I'm hospitalized.
You know, those Finnish ticks.
Yeah, there's no anything.
No, you're right. It's too cold. So rounding out the bottom of the 156 countries, the least happy people in the country, as this report says, Rwanda, Tanzania, Afghanistan, Central African Republic, and South Sudan.
Is this, is it all, and also, I don't, you know, we did the way they measure it. I didn't like the income being at the top. I'd like to slide it down toward the middle. Okay. In the happiness department. Sure. I don't feel like that there's a direct link. You know, being destitute and poor, not having clean water or something, that'll make you unhappy. But I'm saying money, I don't know. I feel like the other things on the list, the community and all the other stuff.
The generosity, the life expectancy.
Yeah.
However, it kind of balances it out because there's income and there's social support.
But Adam, as you've gotten more income over the course of your life, you've gotten more cheerful.
Shut up, Baldy. I'm thinking over here.
Pipe down. But yeah, it's a factor. Might not be the main factor, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's in there.
It's this finely honed routine we have. You guys can probably tell.
Well, CNN reports that about 1,600 people have been secretly filmed in their motel rooms in South Korea, with the footage live streamed online for paying customers to watch, according to police. 2 men have been arrested and another pair investigated in connection with the scandal, which involves 42 rooms, 30 accommodations, 10 cities around the country. Police said there's no indication that the businesses themselves were complicit in this scheme.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
The man show bit of me opening my own Cobra Kai and teaching the kids karate.
Oh, this is,
I forgot about this bit.
Season 3.
Max Zapata just put it on my screen. We'll play it for...
This is Adam Carolla, substitute karate teacher.
I was hoarse after this. My name? Sensei Adam. I am going to teach you the art of karate. Rear front kick. Left, right, cabbage patch, evil death claw. Let me give you a real world scenario. Let's say you're in the milk line at school and a bully comes up behind you and wants your change. Let's say you're at the beach with your best girl and a guy comes up and kicks sand in your face. Let's say you're at a bar tilting a couple of cold ones after work with your buddy, and some drunken townie thinks you've been making eyes at his bitch. What are you going to do? They're all beating me now. Told you I was
You're
hoarse.
in a cockfight, and a couple of the Tijuana locals think you've been winning just a little too much.
Confused kids.
Let's say you're on the street and a bad guy pulls a knife on you. But he holds it more forward. Right. And now he does that thing where he taunts you by throwing it back and forth from one hand to the other. But a little smaller, but faster. Huzzah! Ow! Oi! Oi!
Groin kicks.
You were at a strip club and one of the Bettys just told the bouncer you gave her the magic thumb.
That kid's great.
This one's for my brother. Hey! You guys got two choices. Sweat on the mat or bleed on the street. Go.
Hey!
Sweet. You're Nam on a recon mission up the Mekong Delta. Next thing you know, you step on a little present from Charlie. It's a bouncing Betty. You got a heartbeat to react, or you're going to be wearing your sack like so much aftershave. See you in hell! Ah! You thought you were going to make some extra scratch doing gay porn. Turns out you just got the lead in a snuff film. Now you got a ball gag in your mouth, and you're in a basement somewhere in Pomona. What do? What's up? What's up? Hey! 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 Class dismissed.
Forgot about that bit.
Well, if that was an audition, you're hired.
Am I hired?
Yes,
Crease's
definitely.
assistant?
Yes.
3?
I don't know. It could be...
Yeah, he's my assistant. There's no question about it. I mean,
John actually wants the kids.
I don't know. Yeah, well, the kids are pretty good as well. I
The
think
reactions are great.
amazing.
We had to get all the
Unbelievable.
moms to bring all their 7-year-olds, and we had to put them in a half circle, and then we had to film me sort of saying nothing to them, and then
Yep.
we'd cut back to me, and then we'd cut to them, and it was done in a way that was fairly flawless. Like, you didn't know I
It
wasn't
looks amazing.
saying that horrible stuff in front of the kids, because like all their moms were like sitting in the entry hall, like watching me the whole time. And then I can't remember if we cleared them out. I said all the horrible stuff.
Sounds about right.
They never have any idea what's going on.
We don't have the time for that. We just have Johnny and Crease say horrible things in front of these children. The kids are-
this is way back in
is money.
2001. I
Yes.
mean, it was a simpler time.
Yes.
Now,
No.
kids get it. They have,
Yep.
U-porn.
this is when you had integrity.
Yes.
I forgot about the... Got yourself a lead in a gay porn. Snuff film.
Yeah.
You got a ball gag in your mouth.
There's one kid just had great expressive eyes.
Yeah,
You know,
and his eyebrows were
and he
great.
looked really confused.
Wearing your sack like so much aftershave.
Oh,
Yeah, but your kicks. I mean, some of those kicks, they worked. I mean, and some of the snaps and some of the punches. I mean, the lunge punch was, you weren't just, fluffing as an actor trying to fake it.
That's why I make the perfect assistant.
That's
That's
true.
it.
This is his audition.
Right.
Yeah, this is why sometimes when I get a little defensive about the Man Show, they go, "Oh yeah, a bunch of beer and fart jokes and stuff." I go, "No, we did funny bits that had nothing to
Totally.
do with chicks or trampolines or beer or anything. We would just do funny sketches sometimes that we would be the butt of the joke." It's like, "Oh, you guys made fun of girls. I remember that show." It's like, no, we just do bits where we got kicked in the nuts.
Right.
It wouldn't work the other way.
No, and people who watched it wouldn't have said that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, with the South Korean thing, people were hiding digital cameras in TV boxes and wall sockets and hairdryer holders. And this was all streamed online for $44.95 a month. You could get extras and rewatch some of the live streams.
Is this an ad for it? I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, Google it right away. South Korea has had a serious problem with spy cameras and illicit filming, apparently. In 2017, more than 6,400 cases of illegal filming were reported to police, and that's compared to 2,400 in 2012, so they're super into it.
I remember there were, party lines way back in the day. Predates us, but there were they'd see them in movies and stuff, like pick up the phone and you could hear your neighbors having a conversation and you could
That'd be great.
eavesdrop on them. I guess there's always that, right?
Is that like the 40s?
Yeah, well, so there's a human component to somebody's talking, or you're walking your dog at night, and the light's on, and someone hasn't pulled the shade down, and they're getting undressed. What's going on? Like there's a part of us that sort of basks with the lure, right? Like it's in our wiring. So it's in our wiring to walk your dog at night, walk past a house, see it's lit up, and sometimes you'll do that movie. You go, oh, they're what they're watching on TV, like you can see what TV. And then if the person walks in the room and starts taking their sweater off, you just stop. Like that. That's in all of us. This is sort of an extension of that.
Yeah.
And it's why we need to kind of keep ourselves in check, because the next move is you're in a shrub and you're looking through the bathroom window, right?
Yeah.
Like that, the part where you stop isn't bad.
That's the putting the credit card down on this particular thing.
Right.
With this site, that's the shrubs. That's hanging out in the shrubs.
Right.
The digital shrubs.
The digital shrubs.
Well, and there's stories too about, like, in Japan, there's these these apps or whatever, video games that are through the roof successful, where women can purchase and sort of create the perfect husband and boyfriend, and you get a doctor, or you get like a cold businessman, or you get like an artsy punk rocker, and there's
brash
so much
podcaster.
There's so much money being pumped into these. So I wonder if there's a correlation there between not having, actual time for actual human contact and creating this on your own. I don't know.
Brian, you're lucky my bucket of quarters I usually use to throw at you. You're lucky it's dry.
Finally, after all these years,
you're
it's
lucky I
empty.
haven't made change in
After
a couple
all
of days,
these years.
but it's coming.
It's taking a lot of quarters to get to the bottom of that bucket.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there also voyeurism? I know it's a part of everybody. I feel like when I was a kid, it was such a novelty to see a woman naked or in her underwear or something. There was a lot of like sneaking around and like, oh, the girls are in the swimming pool and they're in the cabana in the back and they're getting changed, look over the thing or whatever. Now everyone's got a phone with porn on it, right? Is that there going to be any more sneaking around? Do you guys remember that part of your youth when there was
catching a glimpse of
glimpse, or the window, like where the cute girl on your block lives, and their window's a little open, and it's at night, and you can kind of see in, or like that voyeurism thing that guys all kind of have. Is it all null and void now?
I can't imagine
it's not the same. It's changed filmmaking. I could tell you that. Like there were the comedies. All the Animal Houses, Revenge of the Nerds, and all that stuff.
They all had that scene where it's like, oh, the sorority house window, they're having a panty raid or a pillow fight over there.
That's a vestige of old movie making.
Yeah,
at this point.
Definitely.
I remember growing up in Queens and having that window of the woman, this divorced woman, and I was all of 12, and I would once in a while I saw her changing in a brassiere. And I see her walk in the hallways, and she was a knockout. And then when I'd see her changing through the window down below, I knew exactly who I can picture it in my head. And I would watch this woman, and her name was Elaine. And I would just watch Elaine, hoping she would just, put on her pajamas in front of me.
Yeah.
And she never did. She always floated through the house in a bra. And I just remember being 12 years old and just saying, oh, my God, I need to marry Elaine.
Yeah.
And he did. That's how they met.
I mean, there was, it's an old joke, but like mirrors on your shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one? Everything was a lot
shiny
of
patent leather shoes.
The entire premise of Benny Hill was just like kind of peep show, catch a glimpse, changing room, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's time's up on that.
Wasn't it the first act of Splash? Where
I was going to say
young
John Candy had that,
taking pictures of girls' skirts or something.
Yeah, it was considered sort of youthful and harmless. Yes, back then.
It was portrayed as such. Yeah,
yeah, it was portrayed as such.
I think it was harmful to some people.
Yeah.
Well, I just mean every 11-year-old boy and I don't even know what age. I probably 9 years old through 17 years old.
Prime sunny time, let's say.
If the sisters' friends were having a pool party and they were getting changed, it would have been your job to try to get up on the roof and see if you could catch a glimpse. Like, that's just how we
Fast
roll.
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fascinating thing that I remember a story like that, when I was 12, I was babysitting for a woman down the hall. And I came to be about 19. We still lived in the building, and now the woman was divorced. And we ended up going out together. And my mother would say, why do you always go down and have these conversations with Frances? And I say, well, we talk about a lot of stuff, Mom, stuff I can't talk to you about. And then she invited me to a wedding one night, and I went with her, and we drove in my little sports car my parents had just bought me for college, MGB, the top convertible. And we made out and all this stuff. And I was 19. And then by 5 in the morning, I just said goodbye and walked across the hall. And as I'm about going home, into my door, I say, I feel like James Bond. I just made it with an older woman. I've just kissed her and really took my jacket, my tuxedo jacket, threw it over my shoulder, went down at 5 a.m., turned on the MGB, put the top down, and just buzzed around the neighborhood as if it was my Aston Martin.
Yes,
you know, because
should.
that fantasy just came alive and was real now. 6 years later, after I was a babysitter, you know, and just to credit what you're saying, those are real fantasies when you're 12 and 11 and 13, and you remember them today. I remember them today. I remember Francis today.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, probably finished yourself a couple of times based on those memories. Finish it!
A young MartinKove driving around town.
That's right. And an MG, yeah, maybe a little English car, but sort of maybe the poor man's Aston Martin, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do one. Let's do one more. What else, Gina?
Well, the original Woodstock was August 16th through the 18th, 1969 in Watkins Glen, New York. Now, 50 years later, they're going again. Woodstock 50 will be August 15th through the 19th.
Oh, I saw Brian's tweet on that, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I think it was something
true.
along the lines of, when I was 18, it was like, oh, man, I paid so much money to go to that. And now at age 40, it's like, man, they have to pay me so much money to go to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the lineup's going to look a little different. Now, there will be some classic rockers there. There's going to be Santana, Robert Plant, David Crosby, Country Joe McDonald.
At Watkins Glen, they're having it at the racetrack?
Oh, I don't know if it's at the racetrack specifically. It's in Watkins Glen.
Well, they do.
I don't think it's the original site. I think
They
there's some
do
complaint
stuff
about
at
that.
racetracks
Farm?
all the time because the track's 3 miles around, and then you have this huge
Right.
infield, and
Well, it's like, yeah.
fencing, and there's infrastructure, and there's bathrooms.
Well, that would make sense because Coachella's on the polo fields.
Watkins Glen, if you watched the movie Rush, that's the place where the young, handsome Frenchman was basically decapitated in practice. Real guy. Real. Yeah, just, boy, Gina, when you find the picture of the young Frenchman who was decapitated, you are going to, the brothers dump out a little malt liquor for the brothers. You're going to have to spill a little douche because this guy was hot. He was an F1 driver.
sadder.
He's like 27 years old. When you see this guy's blue eyes and you realize you literally was like decapitated in an
Jesus.
F1 car, it's going to break your heart.
Okay.
It's sadder when good-looking people die.
Obviously, yeah.
It is Watkins Glen International, the racetrack.
The race. So it's at Watkins Glen, and this guy's name was... Can't think of this guy's name, but he died in practice at Watkins Glen. That was the scene in Rush where... what's his name? Well, you'll find it. Anyway.
Well, here's some of the headliners that are going to be the new Woodstock. The Killers, Miley Cyrus, Jay-Z, Imagine Dragons, Common. A little bit different than the original Woodstock. And we're looking at the lineup here. There's Janelle Monáe and Edward Sharpe and the Black Keys. And it's
I don't even know who Edward Sharpe is.
And the Magnetic Zeros.
You know how you know you're getting old?
Like.
You watch SNL, and you'll only recognize every third band that comes on
sounds
SNL.
about right.
That's
Yep.
you being old.
Yep.
Because obviously they're good enough to be asked to come on Saturday Night Live. So they're out there.
Yep.
They're not taking really deep cuts. They're taking people that are successful, that are
Top
out
40.
there. And you are going, I've never heard this person's name in my life. And there they are
Yep.
once again.
Gary Clark Jr., don't bury the lead.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Oh, boy.
You know the Lumineers are, the
Sure.
Raconteurs. So
Them I know.
yeah, they're all headlining.
Who's the Frenchman who died at Watkins Glen in the movie Rush? Go ahead, Max Pata.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought I was, I'm sorting.
Can't take this long. It's got to be fast. Got to find it. Watkins Glen, F1 driver, dies at Watkins Glen, 1977. It's only going to be one thing that's going to pop up. All right, what else? Sorry. Oh, Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodstock.
Watkins. How far from the original Woodstock is Watkins Glen? Or where was the
it
original?
was in Watkins Glen.
Oh, the original one was at Watkins Glen.
I was there on the morning, Monday morning, because I had a girlfriend who was a belly dancer, and I took her to a club date, literally a club date in the Catskills that weekend. I'll never forget it. And I was eating my heart out that I could not get to the festival, but I made a commitment, took her to this Catskill, place like Grossinger's or whatever, and she did her singing and dancing. And then I took her back home in my MGB and called my friend and said, I just left the Catskills, and it's Monday morning, and it's got to be a scene. We got to get those vibes. And he says, let's go. We drove that morning to Watkins Glen, drove all around. It was a mess. Paper, it was a massive mess. But you could still feel the energy in that place. And, people say, you went to Woodstock? And I say, no, but I was there.
Technically, I did.
Francois or something, Severt.
Francois
Severt, or whatever. Then you find a picture of that dude. He was like, I don't know, it's like 27, blue eyes, super soul 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Are you looking at this guy?
That is a handsome man.
Yeah.
You'll find one, Max Pat, that has even more blue eyes in there. Like, that guy was a good-looking playboy.
I think the original Woodstock was in White Lake, and this one's in Watkins Glen, and they're 3 hours apart almost.
Thank you.
This one, well, I literally am
Thank you, Brian.
I'm looking at a classic rock, ripped from the headlines of a classic rock headline that says Watkins Glen, 50 years later, same place.
Well, it's weird because I've heard 2,000 stories about the first Woodstock, and I never heard, like, in the infield or by the main straightaway, and I would have known the Watkins Glen, that would have jumped out to me.
Right.
So that's why it was confusing to me.
Bethel, New York was the original location.
Bethel?
Oh, no, D, you're right, Bethel.
All right. Yeah. Oh, man, look at that guy's eyes.
Look at that head of hair.
You can still have those eyes and head of hair.
Mutton chops. Poor thing. Who does he look like?
He's a good-looking dude. He looks like James Franco.
Kind of, yeah.
Meets Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a head you'd want to decapitate.
No, want to keep it
You want
attached.
to keep that head in prime condition. Sad. All right. Oh, speaking of race car drivers, Patrick Dempsey's coming in here tomorrow. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Hey, if you eat this way, your pussy's going to stink.
Gina Grad.